Hello, 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 everyone. Hello. Let's get some stuff sorted, shall we? That should be better for you, lovely lot. It's slowly grown back, slowly grown back, slowly grown back, bit by bit. This is not too bad, actually. This is, I want to say, a week to a fortnight's growth. I want to say it's a week. The other half didn't like it. She really, she said she didn't like the feel of it. Bless her. When, you know, I'll be like lying down on the sofa and, you know, that whole love and stroke your head kind of thing. She didn't like it, and it's like, fair enough, it is what it is. But yeah, it's all yeah, that's why it's coming back. It's not gonna go as long. But yeah, tis what it is. Tis what it is. But yeah, how are we all doing? How are we all doing? Bought killing floor. Oh no. Nice. Nice. Very nice. Tooth playing up. Luckily, I think I got the dentist in September. I think I got something wrong with a filling, so it's leaving a nerve exposed. Hey ho, do the British thing, drink a cup of tea. And hurt. Hello, Jet. Hello, everyone. Hello. Oh, I think this filling is one of my OG ones, like really old ones. But yeah, tis what it is. Tis what it is. But yes. How are we all doing? How are we doing? If you use gold or silver, they last forever unless you're extremely damp. Yeah, I have metal fillings. I don't have the white fillings. The issue I have, I found out I got very strong jaws. So if they do the white fillings, I break them, which is never good. Basically, they say it's poisonous, but the way it's poisonous, you would have to have your mouth filled to the brim with them, and have it from like a child all the way to like very old for it to do the damage. It's kind of like having everything in moderation. But yes, that's why they have moved over to the white filling. It doesn't have the metals in it. But yeah, honestly, you know, yes, I believe it's amalgam. Yeah, yes. To my knowledge, yeah, you would have, if you had one or two of those fillings, you're fine. It's just if for some weird reason your mouth was just full of the silver fillings, yes, that is an issue. I do believe, could be wrong, but I do believe if you have a few, you're absolutely fine. Alright? You're absolutely fine. But yes, how are we all doing? How are we all doing? How are we all doing? But yes, as I said, this is a bit of a detox stream as well. Being open and honest with people. Don't worry, I'm not coming out and saying I've done anything illegal, anything dangerous, or anything criminal, anything like that, alright? Before anyone jumps on that, alright? Anyone jumps like that, you know what I mean. It's just me being open and honest. I always try to be open and honest with people, always try to do that when I meet people face to face, chat to them on Discord, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, XYZ. So, you know, I like to try and be open and honest. Fun fact, my dentist said I have only 2 bottom rows, front teeth. He said, fair enough. Fair dues. Fair dues, bit different. I am trying to do something a bit different at the moment. I actually printed out a plinth. So I've had to use Milliput. I'll show in a minute. To clean up some diorama bits. Hello, Manor. Hello, hello, hello. But yes, it's a get off my chest kind of stream. Isn't a 3D printer horrendously? Regrettably, it depends on what printer you want, and where you live, and the quality of printer you want. Hello, Manor. Just stating this is a bit of a get off my yeah, there's options for 3D printing, 100%. This is one of those get off my chest kind of streams. Alright, being open and honest with everyone. And before anyone worries, I haven't done anything illegal, haven't done anything criminal, or anything like that. I know some people can get a little bit off. I think the cheapest was $200, $300. The highest is $1 to $2 grand. Yeah, technology it explodes. All right, because I got my mono 4K. God, when did the Lionel Johnson model come out for 40k? When did that come out? End of last edition, like 3 years ago, let's say. I want to know what another sword? Yeah, it was about just over 2 years ago now. Let's say just over 2 years ago. I bought a nice, solid, little, solid budget 4K printer. All right, cost me about 300 quid. Built myself, cure, so on and so forth. Nowadays, for 300 quid, I could buy something that is 3 times the build plate and probably 3 times the resolution for the same money. So technology constantly keeps getting better. Constantly. It may slow down, but it will get better. You know, it may peak, will get better. Like everything, all technology, it will progress. So yes. Need a refill? No worries, Mano. No worries. Be curious what you actually bought. Be curious what you actually bought. Oh! Oh God. Oh God. Had to reply to Mano's post. Yeah, so yeah, I have been nowhere near as creative as I was last year. I have done sod all painting, sod all creativity. Alright. Just in general, drank too much Red Bull and Pepsi, now my vision's blurry. You silly goose. You absolute silly goose. Yeah, I saw Mana. So yes, I have not been as creative as I was last year. Just not feeling, for me, myself, the enjoyment in it. I honestly do think it's worse than Burnout. It's worse than Burnout. Yep, don't get me wrong, I've had a lot on my plate, and I'm not denying that. I'm trying to not use that as, in my head, an excuse. But, you can't just bury your head in the sand and think everything's alright. You can't. That's why, for me personally, I'm trying, and I will be trying to gain momentum on it. I'm trying to advocate for men's mental health. Not being hippy dippy at all. Alright? But I do think when things happen to people, regrettably, there does feel like there's a time in people's life where sometimes hope you have a lovely stream though, mate. See, no worries, you rest up. Sometimes it feels like it's pushed to the wayside. Alright. You know, for better or for worse, it is. And you know what's happening to Manor is not nice at all. It's happened to many other people. That's why I'm saying I am nothing special. It happens to a lot of us. What has happened to me and my family. But it's, for me personally, I also come from a background of business studies and things like that. I know how businesses work. I am quite a creative person, but also quite a logical person, and I like to tinker. Alright? Being born and raised on a farm, you learn how to build stuff, you learn how to repair it, and you can't just pop to the shop to get a tractor. You've got to make it work. Alright? And I personally stuck between a rock and a hard place emotionally, my head and my heart, when it comes to wargaming. Alright? This has been simmering for over a year now. Alright, not gonna lie. And I'm gonna say it, you can love the product, you don't need to love the business. And that really does come to me personally when it comes to Games Workshop. I really do enjoy the product that they make 9 times out of 10. But I don't like their business practice, and that's the problem. Like you said, Manor, I think you've said it in the past. I've said it in the past, and I'm trying to say it. Creativity isn't always you don't want to use it as a mask. Things cope with stuff differently, you know, however you want to. And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. I'm just trying to be honest. I'm trying to voice it out there. Better than just doing a weird social post. I'm just trying to get it out there. It's, with things going on, it has killed my enthusiasm. Like, I haven't touched my Dark Angels. Like, genuinely, I haven't. The last one I painted was the Angels of Absolution one. Oh no, Guardians of the Covenant, that just popped up, the silver one. I don't paint my Votan. I haven't touched my Old World Dwarves Highland miniatures. Barely touching my Knight models. And yeah, I haven't touched my Drop Fleet. Plus other things. And it's really having an effect, because what really made me think was I was very excited when Heresy Age of Darkness came out. because I was collecting the heresy army back in the day to try and do multi-purpose Horus heresy and use it as a redeemed, risen Dark Angel force for Chaos Space Marines in 40k. Alright. No one around my neck of the woods was really playing heresy pre-Age of Darkness because it was the red books. The red and black books, very expensive. It was kind of dropped. It was dropped by Games Workshop per se. But I was still falling back on the idea of using it for the Fallen for Chaos Space Marines. Then Games Workshop went and put big swaths of the Heresy miniatures in as Legends for 40k. Now I do know people have said, oh, you can still play them, you can still play them. Legends rules don't always match up to their counterpart, and it does feel that you're playing at a disadvantage. Okay, so that really put a nail in that for me personally. So I sold it off, and then Age of Darkness came out, and it was like, oh damn, for crying out loud, I just sold it off. 6 months prior, I had I had a car bills to pay, so things happen. All right. Now, I got hyped, got excited behind Age of Darkness, bought two of the boxes. Then things happened, couldn't get hold of Lionel Johnson because of scalpers. I was like, screw it, I'm going to buy a 3D printer. I've been looking into getting a 3D printer for some time. So the money I put aside for Lionel Johnson and the book, the novel, limited edition novel, I then put towards 3D printer. And that led into printing stuff, creative stuff, doing loads of bits and pieces. Grey Tide led into the Highland miniatures, and led into me doing a little business on the side, MK6 Printing. So good things. And obviously that then led into me doing prints for friends, acquaintances, stuff like that. Now, along this line, Games Workshop were doing Games Workshop things. Very much the mindset of trading card game mindset, where things are in rotation. Because it's heavily implied that a lot of their shareholders are from the TCG background, trading card game background. And if people know of trading card games, such as Magic, Pokemon, Digimon, Lorcanum, things like that, they're in rotation. Alright, Magic, you have different rotations. You have standard rotation and things like that. Now, I'm fully aware of that. I used to collect trading card games in the past. I've got a small Magic collection. Fully aware things will go into rotations. But there's a difference between, for me personally, when I buy a set of cards, I play them for standard and they may go into Pioneer or something like that. The cards, I can still play with them in that version if I have people like-minded that can play with it. The only effort I've put into them is I buy the cards, I sleeve them, I look after them, put them into decks, put them into boxes, they're done. Whereas when it comes to wargaming, you buy the box, you build the miniatures, you paint the miniatures, you then get to play with them. There's more steps. There's more effort, inverted commas, time and effort put into it. I'm not saying there's not time and effort of building your decks and stuff like that, but then that's the same as building an army for a wargaming. So it really has hammered my enjoyment when 40k does feel like it keeps getting fiddled around with. AOS is horrendous for being fiddled with. And I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be negative, and that's why I've been trying to plod along, but I just haven't had the honest enthusiasm behind it. I used to love AOS. Alright, I would have the piss ripped out of me going, oh, it's that dead game, by people that used to play fantasy. But strangely enough, they just went straight over to 40k, but it is what it is. Fantasy wasn't supported, AOS wasn't their forte. They weren't malicious about it, they were just, it wasn't their forte, so they take the mick. But I'll play it, fine. But then AOS, in my scene, went very tournament focused. Finite, but tournament focused, so I had to step away personally because it was just mind-numbing. And then I thought, you know, I'll refresh my Dark Angels a bit with Grey Tide Studio parts, similar Black Templar. And the Lion came back. Obviously, the scalping with the Lion and stuff didn't help matters. And that's not GW's fault, that's just scalpers knowing they can make money. Alright? They put things in place, like the queues, and you can only order one or something like that. They have tried to put things in place. My issue is I can still see rules, I can still see balancing issues and stuff like that. And when like the Inner Circle Companions first came out or second came out, something like that, it felt like their swords, these tyrannic great swords from the heresy era, I might as well have been swinging a pool noodle. And it was like, I love the models, but if I put them on the tabletop, I might as well be taking Blade Guard or something. I might as well be taking Vanguard Veterans. It was just like, the love for them couldn't override what's going on here. And then the 10th edition or 11th edition, whatever in this current edition is, Dark Angel book came out. And none of the detachments felt... There wasn't an overarching detachment of the three wings working together, which for me and many other Dark Angel fans, we enjoy that aspect of it. Then they have now, a couple months ago, they brought out one at the Christmas time, which was a combined one, but it still had its flaws. Was it a combined one? Yeah, it was a combined one of Ravenwing and Deathwing, but not really Greenwing. Getting there. And then a month or so ago they brought out the Tri-Wing, Lion's Hunt or something like that. And I personally enjoy that detachment. How it reads, how it seems to play, it looks solid. But then I was getting comments of, see, they can do it. And I'm like, yes, but that's 2 years later. There's still a year, there's only 1 year left of this edition. And that's where it kind of came to light. Hello, Simon! Hello, Simon! I let all the alerts go off. How are we doing, good sir? I warn you now, I'm just having a bit of a detox and getting some stuff off me chest, me lover. How are we doing? After alert, got a massive pile of Chinese to eat. No worries, enjoy your Chinese. Yeah, I'm just getting stuff off my chest that has just been niggling me, good sir. I say niggling me, it's just completely killed the enthusiasm for the past year or so. But yes, how was your stream? How was your stream? I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom. All good. That hate dude, go for it. Oh, yes, sorry, yeah. So, but yeah, how did your stream go? And the lovely people that came in with Simon, welcome. My name's Mark. I'm from Southwest England, Cornwall. I've been in this wargaming hobby for Yeah, over 20 years now, I would want to say. Over 20 years. And basically, I'm doing a bit of a detox. Isn't it a raid? I thought it was. Oh, sorry, subscription. My apologies. I completely misread that. Me being a moron. Yeah, I don't want to be a negative person. I'm not trying to be a negative person. But for me personally, I'm just tired of... It feels like, for some people, Games Workshop, as the prime example, can't do anything wrong. They can't do anything wrong, and it is rubbed raw now. Like, as I said, with the latest attachment for the Dark Angels, it sounds and it runs like I want them to work. That all three wings, the green wing, the raven wing, and the death wing, work together. And they're like, see, they could do it. I'm like, yes, why is it taking them 2 years to do it? Alright? And it's just, this 3-year rotation, it's too short. You don't get enough time with your stuff. Like the Votan is coming out at some point in the future. They've shown it off at their summer reveal. Cool. So if I did get that book, if I did get those new models, I would be lucky to get a year out of it before it's a new edition. There's too much of that, and for me personally, I can't warrant the expense. You know, I'm trying not to be Mr. Negative, but it's true. 3-year rotation is a joke, and the only people that see, from my personal view, my personal experience, the only people that seem to be happy and complacent with it are either the tournament people, because they're used to that mindset. Fine, that's your enjoyment. That whatever, you enjoy it. Or the people that have more, I'm going to be blunt, more money than sense, and they're not in it. You know, that kind of, they're not in it for creating a narrative or creating a force. It doesn't feel that it's this weird thing. I think the 3-year rotation that bugs me the most. I have last 3 editions sat here and I only played the... Yeah, that's the problem I have. And I think what really hit the nail in for me recently, and it was like, I can't keep going on like this. Like, I've been frustrated with things and stuff like that, not had any creative fun. I've got tons of stuff here that I could have been painting and building, and I just haven't. Just been in a downward spiral, I'm not going to lie. I have. That's why I'm really trying to advocate for men's mental health, because I'm not saying people need to be covered in cotton wool or bubble wrap or anything like that. I'm not saying that before anyone puts any words in my mouth. I'm just saying there needs to be more honest, genuine support out there. Alright? But I'm looking at my Horus Heresy stuff. Yes, I had a few games of it over the 3 years. But I genuinely thought Horus Heresy was going to be more of a stable thing, like Middle Earth. And I've done a few videos on it, voicing my grievances, and the grievances of many people that I think have the communication. Oh, we haven't done sweeping changes. Well, what is a sweeping change then? Because you've changed everything. The only thing you haven't changed is you've still kept hull points and armor facing, and everything's still in inches, and you still have the core mechanics of movement. You know, that's the only stuff you couldn't really change. And it's just, why? Oh, it's to get new people in. Yeah, I just... And then when you voice stuff like that, you're called a naysayer, a grumpy guts, and all this and all that. It's like, No, it's genuine frustration and concern. You know, that, and there's too much now, people coming in, there's both ends of the stick, both ends of the scale. You got people gunning after content creators going, you lied to us about Horus Heresy, as the latest example. You lied to us. They probably had their hands tied under the new, it's been leaked, the new NDAs. Or newer NDAs. And also, you're not going to bite the hand that feeds you. If you are creating content, that is related to a game system, you're going to have to be careful what you say about that game system, or you're not going to get any support for it. Now, I do know some game systems out there, they are quite forgiving. You can say positive and negatives in equal measures. You know what I mean? You can say it in equal measures, and the producers, the creators of X system are fine with that. Games Workshop has their NDAs have came out. Alright, I don't know if they're already out, but they are in the pipeline. You say anything negative, you say anything about other game systems, you're in hot water. And that's the problem now. That is the problem. The reality is there needs to be more push further. Yeah. And, like, I feel the same with Old World. Even if they come up with the new edition, I will stick with the current. Yeah. I think the biggest issue that I then said about Horus Heresy and these rotations, alright, how are you going to comfortably get people to play the older editions? My personal experience, you can't. You can't get them to play the older editions unless they're truly retro. Alright? Because I know of people that were frustrated that fantasy disappeared. And then trying to get the games going. Inherently, people want to play modern rule sets. Supported modern rule sets. Nothing wrong with that. You want to play with the new toys. But no one was playing the retro stuff. And I think that's the problem that's happened now with Horus Heresy. So I spent 20 quid and I bought the rulebook. No, my luck, I am probably never going to play a game. I may play 1 or 2 games. I got the quick compendium thing. And I've seen a few battle reports. And they look fun. But it looks like it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary. All they had to do was fix some of their glaring issues with 2.0. They could have done 2.5. And that's the problem. You've now null and voided all those other books. Because those missions don't have objective things in those missions that support this rule set. And that's where... That's one of the biggest contributors of why I'm struggling to create wargaming content. Because one of the biggest contributors for me creating content is Games Workshop. I love their miniatures, I love their books, but I'm struggling with their business decisions and their morals. And I don't think it's just me. I think there's a lot of other people. And the problem is, 9 times out of 10, if you don't play Games Workshop, you don't get games. If you don't produce videos on Games Workshop, Instagram photos on Games Workshop product, doesn't see the light of day. And it's those small little things. You've put time and effort painting this lovely thing up, and it falls to the wayside. for example. And I'm not saying it's all about the glory and the showcase and the peacocking. I'm not saying that. But you put time and effort in. But then you feel like you could put half the time and effort in onto a Games Workshop model and it rockets, potentially. Because it's Games Workshop. Because that's what people are looking for. And it's a double-edged standard. It is a double-edged sword. And it's just... It has killed my enthusiasm for going near my Dark Angels. I was going to do this whole, you know, multi-successor chapter formation. Haven't touched it. And I love the sculpts. Love the designs. Love what I've written about it. But I struggle to have the drive to go near it. You know, and I don't want to be poo-poo, but that's the honest of it. And the whole thing that they're doing with Old World. Bringing out arcane journals. Fine. If they stay with one rule set for a chunk of time, then yes, bring out your supplements. Fine. As long as they're priced relatively cheap, that people could do that. I personally have no problem then. But if Old World's going to get a refresh in 2 years' time, great. Books are null and void and stuff. And it's easy enough for people to say play the old edition, but you need to have people to play the old edition with, and that's the problem. I've been saying the same thing, Simon. Gundam and stuff like that. I think Games Workshop's going to have a wake-up call. I think Games Workshop's got to have a wake-up call. Because Bandai are going to come out swinging. Bandai are huge. I do think they're going to have a wake-up call. Yeah, like, I don't see why they couldn't have done it with Heresy. Horus Heresy. No worries, Jotun? No worries. I don't see why they couldn't have done new journals and stuff. The Gundam minis, yeah. I don't see why they couldn't have done that. Yeah. Oh, I've seen photos of them and stuff like that. And Bandai miniatures are great. I have some of the models from Gundam Minis game. Yeah, Bandai are great for their minis and stuff. But yeah, that's what's killed the enthusiasm. Like, I used to love playing AOS and stuff like that with my Sons of Bear map, with my Fire Slayers, or Kelly's Fire Slayers. She got them off me. My Kharadron Overlords, my Soul Blight. I'm selling my Soul Blight because I haven't gone near them since end of 2nd edition. You know, I should be ecstatic about Chaos Dwarves coming to AOS. But they binned off Beastmen because it was implied, oh, they had too many armies. But then they included Chaos Dwarfs back in. There's too much resentment. There's too much resentment. For me personally. And I know... Yeah, and I know some people can say, oh, it's just a hobby. It's just this. It's just that. But it's an outlet for a lot of people. And you're null and voiding stuff left, right and centre. I have Black Templars. Alright, as a Space Marine Force. I've had Black Templars for donkeys. No one takes a Land Raider Crusader because the rules for the Hurricane Bolters are useless. And they keep saying, oh, we dropped the points. Doesn't matter. The Bolters are useless. Oh, it transports. Doesn't matter. Put it in a Redeemer then instead. Put it in a Flamey guy. You lose 2 capacity. Whoopee. The flames actually cook things. The Bolter doesn't. You know, that's a shame. Black Templar players aren't even playing the Land Raider Crusader because the rules don't match up. That's what I'm saying about the Dark Angels when the Inner Circle Companions came out. Might as well have been swinging a pool noodle instead of a tyrannic greatsword. And yeah, saying about it was implied there was too many armies and stuff like that for AOS. And it was to help the narrative. Didn't make sense having beastmen in there. Sorry, did all the beastmen get eradicated or something? No, the relevant beastmen then went into their factions. So you had your ones going into Slaves of Darkness. You then had them going into Hedonites of Slaanesh, and the Zangors went into Disciples of Tzeentch. Yeah, the problem was the reality, they weren't selling. Just be open and honest. And this is where, honestly, my excitement and my enthusiasm's just waned. It's gone. You know, I got a cabinet full of stuff. You know. Yeah. And the thing is, they are a miniature firm. And don't get me wrong, their miniatures are lovely. 9 times out of 10, they're absolutely stunning. But A, their pricing is ridiculous. Alright. Alarm bells, people. Horus Heresy 3.0 isn't as successful as they were hoping it was going to be. Because they've shot themselves in the foot with a vast majority of the Heresy community. The ones that were going to be spending the money, the old guard, aren't so happy to spend their money. You're only getting the new people coming in. And I don't think there's enough new people coming in to cover the old people not wanting to be there. Why do you think Wayland and stuff are selling at 35% off? I haven't talked to Wayland or any of those ones behind the scenes. But from a business point of view, that indicates they've got more stock than... They're left with more stock than they thought they were going to sell. So now they're having to try and sell it to make space. They can't have it sitting in a warehouse because there's only so much space they're going to have in a warehouse. Be right back. I'm just going to check on the lady a second. There you go. Ah, she's asleep with the dogs, having a nap. But yeah, that's the biggest problem, and I'm not trying to poo-poo on people's enjoyment of these games. If you're enjoying them, brilliant. But yeah, I myself, in my mindset, I don't know what to do. And me just sitting there painting ain't doing it. It feels like I'm hitting my head against a brick wall and I'm wondering, oh, why is the wall winning? Why am I getting a headache? Like, I love my Kharadron Overlords and stuff like that. So seeing the new blimp boys, they look lovely. They look great. But yeah, new cycle. I was enjoying painting my Black Templars. New cycle. New cycle. Null and void rules. These rules don't match. Oh, should only be playing these models, not these models. And then you look at the rules and go, oh yeah, that's great. On social media, there's too much emphasis on what's good and what's bad, rules-wise. And people, yeah, they don't want to go in with subpar armies and struggle and all this and all that. But yeah, it has curbed my enthusiasm quite a bit. And obviously, I've had personal things that have happened. My own life and things like that, and yeah, I'm just mentally just drained, and I'm just being honest with people. That's why I haven't been streaming and stuff, and I'm even, you know, struggling to make the YouTube content, even though I got a bunch of stuff recorded. I've got like 4 videos of Grey Tide recorded. I've got some Heresy stuff recorded. I've got some Votan bits and pieces recorded. You know, I got stuff recorded. 3D printing stuff, discussion stuff, and I'm like, meh. The reality is tournament players are the cash cow until they break their backs. GW pile on the rotations. Yeah. And yeah, I'm personally at a loss of what to do. You know, myself, mentally, I'm at a loss of what to do, because I don't know. Like, I really enjoy Batman. I love the Batman and DC universe. But night models are just doing the night model thing. That's why I've done a video, uploaded yesterday, going, oh, what does this actually mean? Are they fixing their website? Are they coming back? Are they fixing themselves to launch the game system again? That so many fans love. So many people love Batman and DC. You know? But yeah. I don't know. And I've had a few people reach out to me about Horus Heresy, and they would like to play some games with me. In person, tabletop simulator, even meeting up at certain places, maybe like Warhammer World and stuff like that. Find something silly and fun. I started painting the Dwarf Highlander from Salute as a refresher. He's way cool. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. I did say I was gonna run Batman demo games at GriffCon, where it's very much cops and robbers. I've set up the demo where it's in the construction site. There's things in there that you're gonna be fighting over to gain, and secret agendas that you pull. So I'm doing it like that, so it's, you know, it's very larger than life kind of thing. But there's no Batman, there's no Joker or anything like that, because for me, I think that'll break the game. They're too good for all demos. But yeah, I'm probably going to paint up this Superman, because I loved the Superman movie. I just really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy Henry Cavill's Superman and stuff like that. But I do like the new Superman as well. So I'm going to be painting up him blasting off the Daily Planet. Printed out the plinth. That's a big thing too, is build interest and community of a game. That isn't easy, but you can get 2 or 3 people interested or having fun and let people see you can get them to play anything with cool models. Yeah, like I would love. I do know there's a gaming group that I went and visited today. I dropped off some prints. Printed out some bits for some of them and stuff like that. Me and Kelly went out for the day. Went up and got that done. And she said, oh, they seem really nice. I said, yeah, they are. They seem to be good as gold. It's just having that enthusiasm to do it again. Like, yes, I'm only hurting myself by not playing Horus Heresy or Old World or whatever. But is that mental thing of, but why? But why? But why? And yeah, as I said, I'm the only one hurting myself for it. Or, you know, other things. Like with the night model stuff, once I finish off painting up the GCPD, I've got GCPD crew, I've got 2 Joker crews, I've got a Penguin crew, I got a Justice League Dark crew. So, you know, I've got stuff to play around with. So I've got options, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. As I said, I love my Votan, my Space Dwarves, and stuff like that. I should be ecstatic about, you know, Chaos Dwarves coming to AOS, but yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. And yeah, this is just me being honest. This is me being honest, and time to just do something which you fancy. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm being honest, you know, I just haven't had any enthusiasm for it. And I'm not trying to be a poo-poo, I'm trying to be honest. And last month has just been non-stop. Yeah, so I think the genuine idea, because I did promise I'll be doing a Batman demo for GriffCon. I'll be building and painting up the terrain. I just got 3 cops to paint. So then that's that demo done. You know what I mean? So it's done and dusted. And then, yeah, painting up the Batman bust. And just painting it for the sake of painting it. And also doing basing classes. Because I like basing models and stuff like that. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, I acquired some more printers, some more racking, some more business materials, plus a lot of basing materials in general. Tufts, flock, sand, stone, slate, anything and everything. So the other half, bless her, me and her have got this week off. So I'm going to get little pots, and I'm going to be putting base material in pots, labeling them up, and you getting them ready for GriffCon in 3 weeks' time. So if people sign up to the basing classes, they'll get an assortment of bases already prepped for them. They'll get an assortment of material that they can then keep. Alright, they get to keep it. They get to keep their bases. It's all ready to go. And that's something I'm going to be trying to do this weekend, as rather do, you know, get it sorted rather than not. But yeah, I'm not. I emphasize again, I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but I just need to be open and honest with you lot. I'm not trying to ignore you. I'm not trying to be like, oh, he's on YouTube, screw Twitch or whatever, or he's got a printing little business, or screw social media and stuff like that. No, it's not like that at all. It's trying to get back into it. Gloomy son of Gloin. But yeah, that's the honest truth of the matter. That is the honest truth of the matter. Alright? And yes, Jotun, 100%. I completely understand what you were saying in Discord about AI art. Not denying that at all. Not denying that at all. I hadn't replied back because I was obviously streaming. Yeah, 100%. My groove went out the window. You know, went out the window big time. And there's still things that I'm sorting out for my family now. You know, I've had to pick up the pieces, to put it politely. Very big pieces. And it's never easy. Never easy. If people have been in a similar situation, my heart goes out to them. It's not nice. You need to find something you and like-minded mates want to do. The right group makes most... Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, I have no problem with people finding enjoyment in the tournament side. No problem whatsoever. My problem is when that is what is constantly talked about. You know, that's where it kills it. You know, and I don't like being treated like a leper because I'm so anti-tournament. I personally don't like that. It's like my opinion doesn't matter. It's like, I know how rules match up. I've talked to people going, well, why is that a rule like that? Why is that? Oh, because of the balance of this. It's like, that's a load of crap. Yeah, like, it's primarily the company you have. You could have the worst game system in the world, but if you and your mates can laugh and joke and giggle about it, that's what matters to me. Oh yeah, I'm hoping to, as I said, Kelly mentioned, oh, why didn't you go to the Jamboree today? And the problem is, I've got nothing actually ready to play with. Like my knights. Part of me was excited to have a game with Gus this week because they're down on holiday. I've only painted a carapace because I've had no enthusiasm. Yeah. I do know they play 40k, Middle Earth, and they're trying to learn Old World. And two of the ones that go there, I go to work with, and I know they're good-minded. It's just getting over my mental hump of meh. But I do believe they were excited to try and give 40k Crusade a go, which I may try and give that a go. But Crusade does require people to be consistent, and the biggest problem I had, I wasn't able to go. It's once a month, and I haven't been able to go, say, some of those Saturdays because I've been doing stuff for the family. So yeah, never easy. Not gonna make light of it. Anyone that's been through that kind of situation, picking up the pieces, my heart goes out to you because it's not a nice situation at all. I'm not gonna lie, but that's why I really do want to somehow. Oh yeah, I genuinely do hope GriffCon gives me a boost of some sort. But yeah, that's why I want to reignite the social media. I want to reignite the Twitch streams and stuff like that. Come back swinging, because also really want to. I've been trying to advocate for it some point on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that about men's mental health. Because with everything going on, and I'm not being preachy or anything like that, it does feel like there is a significant lacking of it. There's more than there was in the past, Right, there is more than there was in the past. But there does seem to be this snooty look at it and stuff like that. And it's just like, that shouldn't be on. That should not be on. So I do want to try and promote that. But I'm trying to figure out how to promote it without it sounding preachy or pompous or crap. Alright? However I do that, I'm not too sure at this moment in time. Whether it's a fortnightly stream that, you know, it's in a pattern that people can come to and they know it's a safe space to come and just chat, maybe even vent or something. I don't know. It's something that I've got to figure out. But yeah, I am putting stuff up on eBay and selling stuff, and selling all my Soul Blight, just selling it, make space. Need to recoup some of the funds for those printers and stuff. I am most likely selling off all my Dark Angels, Primaris Dark Angels, bar the named characters. They're going to be painting projects. I love my Dark Angels, but I don't think I can warrant having multiple armies for a game system that I personally don't really enjoy. Like, I'll keep my Votan because they're something unique and different, but my Dark Angels will stay for Heresy. And the OSL Black Templars are just easy to paint. Dunno. Mark has fallen. Yes, Mark has fallen onto eBay. But yes, I did have a word with Munch and a few other people. I need to try and persuade the other half to let me do it, because it's not a 2-minute job, but that's going to be way in the future. Once we sort out the garden and stuff like that, it's probably going to be a job over the autumn winter time when it's not so good weather outside. Getting the garage fully renovated, I say fully renovated, tidied, utilize the space, and hopefully the Kelly's fishing gear is stored elsewhere, into a move stuff out of this room into the garage, printers, all the hobby stuff, the gaming tables, it's all out there. Yeah, somewhat like a playroom, but also I could then... Oh yes, it is isolated. It's got its own partition, door, XYZ. It's all isolated. You know, it's sealed off and stuff like that. With, obviously, I know people's concerns with, yeah, it's a man cave. Yeah, 100%, it's a man cave. But then the idea is, if I'm playing bolt action, I could be playing bolt action with Munchie, Alchemist, some other people. If they want to, I could then stream it and get people into the game. How high is it? In what way? How high is what? The roof. Oh no, it's all bungalow. It's all a bungalow. Same level. You actually step down. You step down a foot. Possibly. But yeah, it's not going to be a 2-minute job. Yeah, no, that's as I said, it's something that's going to be happening over the autumn winter. I do think it will be multiple weekend jobs, because it took me a day and a bit to sort out the new racking and get the printers up. But also, I do need to sell off some of the old printers and the spares and repairs printers. I just want them sold. I want them gone. Also, being able to leave game setup is super cool. We could finish our Nat Commander game on Wednesday and we could be able to leave it. Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah. More as in scenery. Yes, oh sorry, yeah, scenery, store it away. Yeah, 100%. The way I personally want it is this back room, which is a bedroom, back to being like a bedroom or a study. Like Kelly could have her stuff there with a bed still here, if that makes sense. So all the hobby stuff and everything like that is out in the garage. But I don't know. I need to measure it up and I need to plan it out. I need to plan out the racking and stuff for it. Make it viable. Which is easier said than done. As I said, it's not a 2-minute. It's not going to be a 2-minute job because I want to get it done right and not have to repeat myself. I know what I've done at the moment is a solid temporary measure that I could use the printers. If I have print commissions come in, I can still print, if that makes sense. But yes, I would love to be able to stream gameplays of Bolt Action, Batman, 40k, for example, if and when, Drop Fleet, one-page rules, Old World, just stuff. I could just stream it. Middle Earth would be an easy one to do because it's on a three board or something like that. You know, I even got Bushido stuff somewhere. I could do that. But yeah, as I said, that is definite food for thought. Like, if we did own this property, I would wholeheartedly be working on the annex thing out in the garage. The only way you're doing this is by actually doing it. Yeah, but I need to obviously plan it out, measure it out and stuff like that, and make sure it's all good. Because at this moment in time, there's only 2 plug sockets out in the garage. One is utilised for the tumble dryer and the chest freezer, so it's on an industrial extension lead, so that's fine. The printers are then on their own industrial 5 surge lead. So if I was going to do this, I need to wire in more plug sockets correctly. Obviously get that done correctly. But yeah, first things first is to get the garden sorted because I need to get a strimmer because my grass cutter ain't doing it. Which I'm hoping to do next weekend. Fingers crossed, because sod's law, my dad's grass petrol strimmer is spluttering, so he needs to get it fixed. But yeah, as I said, I do want to get things done. I'll be cracking on with the Batman stuff. I may actually be streaming painting up the Batman 2 officers and the Commissioner tomorrow. I'll be painting them while the other half, I believe she's supposed to be going beach swimming, which would be nice for her. Go out and about. Get out and about. And get the ball rolling on that. But yes, yeah, so the idea is get the basin tutorials down and suited and booted. You know, get stuff done. Hello, Rose. How are you doing? How are you doing? Oh, nice. How's the doggies doing? Not doing too bad. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. But yes, going over a bit of a plan for my 2 next projects. Creative projects that I naturally paint and stuff like that. Building and painting. I've got some Batman terrain to build and paint. Some Batman miniatures to actually paint for a demo that I'm running at GriffCon in 3 weeks' time. Shit. And then I got a Superman to paint up. Woo! He's slowing down. Oh, bless. Oh, bless. They still want to keep going, don't they? Doggies still want to keep going. They never really want to slow down, do they? But yeah, as I said, you know, just being open and honest. I'm not trying to scry doom and gloom and all this and all that. For me personally, it's just it's been a stressful time. Gonna put it politely. It has killed my enthusiasm. You know, I used to be like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then I still have that thought, but then it's like, oh, what's the point? But yes, you know, I just hope everyone else is doing alright and doing as well as can be. I will be, as I said, getting back into the swing of it. Kelly is trying to kick me out the door more to actually socialise more again. Yeah, no, he won't take it easy. But he lets me know if he's knackered by not wanting to walk in the morning. Oh, bless. So at least you got that kind of understanding, haven't you? You got that understanding that you can go by. Which is great. Which is exactly what you need, in all fairness. Yeah, well, socialise in the best way, you know, best way possible. You know what I mean. But yeah, I do believe there's some proper negative Nancy's out there that hasn't helped. Also, Mike, I hope you understand I'm not getting... Oh, I did mention about the AI thing. I did mention Jotun. Yeah, like Jotun, I fully understand where you're coming from, and I fully understand the concerns AI art, AI in general have. I'm not denying that at all. It's like Pandora's box. Once it's opened, you can't close it. I have genuine concerns for AI of how people utilize it. Like for me, I'm going to be open and honest. I use it to help supplement my weaknesses. Alright? So for me personally, when it comes to thumbnails, if it's a thumbnail of me discussing, let's say, me kit bashing up a assault Terminator. I get an assault Terminator, then I fuzz out the kit bash that I've done, add in the text, the title, done. Alright? It was about me discussing one-page rules. I get some one-page rules artwork, use their logo, stuff like that. If it's on about drop fleet ships. If there's something physical I can use, great. Hecton Land Fortress, same. Bolt Action, the same. However, some of my more discussional videos, for me personally, I don't like having my face in the thumbnail being like overly dramatic. like a weird QVC ad of when it was me discussing about Heresy 3.0 divided the community. You know, I could have had my face like with some Heresy models in my hand or something like that. I personally don't feel comfortable with that. That's where I asked for some art in relation to that. But yeah, like I said before, I'm not trying to sell that art as art. But I do know at the beginning of the AI art generation, yes, 100%, it was nabbing art from other people's creation. 100% off YouTube, there was people trying to go, oh, this art is from this art's from that, so on and so forth. The AI art creation is now more than before. It is creating its own pool, but it still has taken art from the internet, because it's this catch-22. It's trying to learn how to create art, but it needs to have something to come from. But the problem was, it wasn't coming from its own source of art. It was coming from everyone's source of art, and instead of it being like donated into its repository of its information, it was just grabbing it from everywhere. But now what's happening, I was looking into it, now what's happening is certain AI art software out there, it has art donated to its knowledge bank to know where to, if you ask it to, could you create a unicorn galloping past a lake with a sunset in the background, it will then have unicorn, and you tell it the kind of art you want to have, like an oil painting style art, and you go into the description, blah blah, alright? It now has its own repository of donated artwork to pull from. That, to me personally, is the way it should be. Not just pull art samples from the internet. Alright? Because yeah, 100%, you're just pulling it from someone's art, wherever that came from. Fiverr, DeviantArt, or Facebook, whatever, Instagram. Okay, just spit it out there. You know? Yeah, that's what I mean by not all AI art is the same anymore. There's this weird crossover. So yeah, 100%. If you are illegally sourcing it from other people's art, yeah, I'm not up for that at all. And if you are creating artwork and trying to sell it as, oh, here's a poster that, you know, here's an artwork that I sell on Etsy. Alright? No, you haven't created that. You got something else to create it for you. You know, like for me personally, alright? I have, I'm diagnosed with dyslexia and dyspraxia. So I have tendencies, all this and all that, fine. To help me try and keep consistency with important things, like posts and stuff like that, I, what was it? Dictate? I think it's dictate to the software, XYZ, please make this coherent. And it'll make it coherent. I'll go through it and be like, yep, that's the point I wanted to say, blah, 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 and I'll go through it. I used to have it similar at secondary school, where I used to have it similar at secondary school, where I secondary school and primary school, I was technically half deaf. I don't know the actual name for it, but I was half deaf, so I really struggled. So I struggled from an early age to learn elocution, speech, writing, reading, things like that, because when you're very young, your brain is like a sponge. It absorbs information and stuff like that. My vision, they then found out it was quite impaired. My hearing was really impaired. I had collapsing canals. So I was struggling. So I had a helper. So she would then repeat what the teacher would say to me. So she would make sure I understood what was being taught. Then I would say, oh, so the answer, so the process is this, this, and this. The answer means this. She was like, great, and she'd write it down. That's for me, how I try and use AI text. Is I personally try to explain what I can in as much detail as I can, and then it makes it as legible as possible. And then I reread it to make sure if I can understand it, anyone would hopefully understand it. That's where I use AI to help with text. Alright, that's me being open and honest. It's more of a dictate, I think it's called. Dictate? Something along those lines. Okay, so Born is alright. So Born, if you want to Born, Jotun, everyone. One moment, let me explain, because I was looking into this. Alright, I was just curious. I was looking into it. So the newer AI art technology out there, the newer stuff, has a repository of donated art and donated sketches of anatomy, for example, like hands, faces, fingers, stuff like that. Because if you looked at the old original AI art, it struggled with hands. You may have seen it where it was like, oh, the hand is like Klingon or whatever. It was like 3 fingers instead of 4 and a thumb and stuff like that. So what's happening with the newer genuine AI art software is they have their own repository, and if you ask it, could you draw a Western Caucasian monk who's in a Japanese setting that has a bow staff in their hand in a peaceful pose, for example. Alright, it will draw, inspirate, and then you tell it the style that you want it to be in. Could I have it in a comic book style of the Silver Age from, say, the 1970s? So you've given it a style you want it to be drawn in. You've given it what the person, how they look, their posing, what they could be. Say you would like them in a white outfit with a red band, belt, or something like that. So the newer stuff would then source inspiration from its repository of how do hands look, how would a usual Caucasian face would look, how would this outfit usually look, and it would use that to gain its knowledge of how to make the drawing. The issue is, especially with the older software and stuff, where it just outright rips elements from existing artwork. It doesn't take inspiration from it, it just outright rips it. So it may go onto Google and see a monk in the pose that I've asked for with the bow staff, or in the pose it has, then implants a bow staff from a certain artwork, then implants a Caucasian face from another bit of artwork, and in the background from another bit of artwork. Then it blurs it like makes it a bit blurred, the old Photoshop kind of smudge tool and stuff like that, and it goes, oh, this is artwork. That's where a lot, not all of it, but a lot of the heat for AI artwork comes from. Not saying just unanimously that is where it comes from, but that's where a lot of it is coming from. Whereas the newer AI, just technology in general, has now been around long enough that it has then its own donated repository of information, it's gaining knowledge, and that's why there's different iterations of it. Like, it used to be 1.1, now it's 0.5 or 0.2 or 0.2.5. It's grown, and that is where the concern and the frustration comes from. You know, it comes from that, and that's the honest truth of the matter. If my artwork that I used for my thumbnails, just my thumbnails, remember that, was it cropped a head out from here, cropped the body out from there, and stuff like that, yeah, 100%. But it has its own repository of knowing where to get the inspiration from. You know, and I think the problem is, like heated discussions, there are sometimes people that take their opinion too far. Alright? I had it myself where I used it to help generate some posters, some posts for my Macmillan Cancer Support fundraising. And I had people coming in, oh, it's AI slop, I won't be participating in this fundraising, blah, blah, blah. And I would talk to them and go, it's AI generated, it still doesn't mean that the fundraising isn't valid. You've told me yourself, Macmillan's a great support. Oh, well, I'm not doing it because you've used AI slop. It's like, okay, jog on. Don't care. Really don't care. If your opinion on my fundraising is only noted on me using AI to help generate an image to showcase the fundraising on Facebook, to me personally, you can't care about the charity enough. Jog on. I'm going to be blunt. Just jog on. Because you can be passionate and be like, oh, that's a shame that that person's used AI to create some artwork to put their message across. But it doesn't make the message any less important. Alright? Like, it does not. I wasn't selling the message to be like, oh, I'm selling this art to make a poster or a t-shirt or whatever. I'm not making money out of it. And I think sometimes there are keyboard warriors out there, like everything, that just want to hear their own voice. And you turn around to them and say, well, I had recently some people going, oh, AI slop in the thumbnail, oh, clearly using a robot voice and stuff. It's like, no, if you open up the video, you know it's me like this right now, talking to you, right now. Oh, and then they go on, and I'm like, oh, well, 1,500 people seem to enjoy my video. And you say, oh, 1,500 people without any thought and any self, didn't think about themselves very well. It's like, oh, just piss off. Sorry about the language, but that really riled me up. jog on. You're just a keyboard warrior that has nothing better to say. It could be used for a lot more insidious things. A lot more insidious things. And I think what Jotun's saying, and I say myself, AI being used to falsely state you've created artwork and you're selling that artwork ethically, morally, that's not on. Not on. But the problem is, you can't stop them. You know, but they're all concerning. They're all concerning. But yes, there are some stuff that is very, very concerning. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. There's a situation that really, it could have gone bad, from my dad. All right, Mum passed away. She done all the paperwork. She done all the banking. I've had to step in to help. All right. Dad is not tech savvy. All right. There was an email. No worries, Jotun. No worries. Enjoy your D&D. Enjoy your D&D. There was an email that was sent out, and these scam emails are AI generated. Okay, they're AI generated. They somehow get your email from a list of XYZ. Doesn't matter. All right. And they send it out, and they make out, oh, you know, your electric bill, blah blah blah, all this and all that, and they sound legit, and they try to get your details. Now that is very concerning, because it's been programmed to be like that, and it learns how to make these emails look better and all this and all that, and that, yeah, like I'm not denying the AI side. I'm not of art and music and videos and things like that. I'm not denying that at all. But for me personally, there's some very, very scary stuff being made out of it, and there's some great stuff being made out of it. Don't get me wrong. There's some really amazing stuff out there. Like I showed the in-laws today, because we've got friends of ours, friend of mine and Kelly's coming down this week, down into Cornwall, and I went, cool, let's do something cool. I opened up an AI app, and I said to it, could you please create a list of places to go and visit in Cornwall for friends that are coming down from up country from Monday to Friday. Bang. Started generating the list, thumbnails, what the places are known for. Done. That's it. And that saved me an amount of time of looking it up individually, because some of them I knew. Some of them are like, oh yeah, that's fine. Ooh, didn't know of this. Didn't know this. And you get what I mean. So using it for stuff like that, for me personally, I see no problem with it, because I'm using it, remember like Siri for iPhones and stuff like that, and like Hey Google for Google devices, and I have no problem with that. It's when people are using it to make money directly, or con people out of their money. That's where it's like, it needs to stop. It heard me. There you go. And I think that's the problem. It's yeah, like I think there is a big problem with YouTube and Facebook reels and stuff like that, where is advertised as create your own faceless YouTube channel by creating an account, filling in a prompt, and then it'll just keep generating them for you, and they'll post 1 to 3 a day and just spam the... That's like, come on. You can use it as a tool, but there's no substitution for someone who has learned and gained talent and proficiency in making it. Like I've used it where I've typed in I've generated a script, I've sourced the imagery, I've sourced the music, and I've used it to help me make some of my lore reels to see what it was like. And it's nice and presentable, but it isn't the same as when I've seen them where they have their animated avatars in the bottom corner of 40k lore videos or heresy or whatever. Alright? Those, great. I love them, I watch them, and there's a lot of soul and character put behind them. But yeah, I think the AI discussion is a very, very heated discussion, because there's people where yeah, and I think that's where the problem is born, is the cat's out the bag. Pandora's box has been opened. And for me personally, the biggest problem with AI, what's happening with children's desire for literature, children's learning and social skills, kids just learning in general and stuff like that. And how easy is it for people to go on AI chat software of some sort and go, oh, I need a dissertation written up for X. Bang. How are you going to learn from that? You're not going to learn from that. That is one of the... And then, there are some very, very scary softwares, AI softwares out there, where they act like they're your partner on the phone. What? Kind of thing. And it's like, oh. That really does trouble me. That really does trouble me. But that's off on a tangent. That's not for this stream or anything like that. That's what troubles me the most about that. But yes, getting back to miniatures and stuff like that. So I've got my Batman stuff that I need to work on, terrain that I need to work on, and the basing materials for GriffCon, because I am genuinely hoping for GriffCon to go well, and get the hype going for it, and so on and so forth. But time will tell for sure what's actually going on. But yeah, I am a little bit I am a bit concerned with Horus Heresy, as 35% off. It's a great bargain, but that is very cheap, very cheap. But yeah, I hope people are excited to see the Batman stuff get painted up, because I'll see if I can show it a minute. So, yeah. So I got Mr. Superman here. This is something I'm going to be painting up in the future. I had to get some Milliput to fill in some odd seams. Bit nervous of painting them up, because I haven't painted in quite some time, but I need to pull off the band-aid and paint something, don't I? Need to do something. But that's down the line. The thing that I do need to paint up. Let's put it back there. The thing I do need to paint up is this commissioner. And these two police officers, one with a pistol, one with a taser. Then I've got a bunch of TT Combat stuff to keep building. Even got some pallets in there already. And I've been having fun with my FDM printer. Back to Kickstarter with some dilapidated office stuff. Busted up dumpster, I want to say. Whatever the Americans call it. Barricade. And pallets and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna be painting these up. I need to double check my clock, but I'm probably gonna be painting those up tomorrow. I need to double check, but I'm gonna store them to one side, and I need to go on Amazon in a bit and order some little containers to put the base materials in, and I need to get my printer going, pardon me, and print out some bases. Because I need to double check how many bases I got. So I want to print out 32mm bases for people to have fun with. Because I've hopefully got up to 12 people going to the... that's for a diorama that I'm doing up at GriffCon this year. Batman miniatures game. Currently produced something by Night Models, even though Night Models have gone a bit quiet. I'm going to be trying to showcase that game off. But I'm also doing a basing class for an hour and a half or so, £15 a ticket, where people get shown how to make their own base ready material, how to flock and add tufts to different bases to make like a meadow base kind of thing, how to make their own snow flock material to make like a mountainy base, how to paint up stone using base toppers and then you paint it up, how to make urban rubble bases using sprue bits and stuff like that, and then if I have time, how to paint up sci-fi bases with rust and stuff. But the whole point behind it is that it's not using texture paste, because I don't want people feeling like they have to spend money, like expensive money, to do these really nice bases. So I'm going to show them how I try and get around it as cheaply but as effectively as possible. So that's something that I'm going to be doing next couple evenings, is printing out bases so then people can go away with bases, and I'm going to try and create a PDF that I'll print out of a somewhat step-by-step guide of how you do these bases, how you do these base techniques, and I may even make them videos on them. Alright? But yeah, that's definite food for thought, really, in all fairness. But yeah, I think that's it. I've kind of said my mindset of what I want to be doing, why for the last year or so I've been struggling to produce content like I was before. I was streaming like every other day, painting stuff up, and I haven't really had the passion to do it. You know, just being brutally honest with myself and you lovely lot out there, and I don't want to misplace that trust and that honesty. You know, I do want to do painting and content and stuff like that, but I haven't, in my own good consciousness, had the drive or the passion to do it. Pardon me. But yes, I'm gonna raid on. I'm gonna have a little word with the lady and sort out some plans going forward. But yes, fingers crossed. I think I should be able to stream tomorrow. I don't think there's anything major. I do need to get some things printing on the 3D printers as we speak. 2 resin prints, D&D character for someone, and a model ship for an in-law. And then print out some 32mm bases off the FDM printer, and then go from there. But yes, as I said again, thank you everyone for, you know, hanging around like you have. It's very much appreciative. I do want to wake up the Discord. There is one gentleman in there, I'm going to be honest, that I may have to have a word and potentially boot out, which I think there's someone who's creating artwork and stuff for clients, and like Twitch stream artwork, and it just feels like it's all forced, because no one's interacting with it, and I don't want it killing off the Discord. So if people want to join in, you're more than welcome to, but this one I may have to boot out. But yeah, thank you very, very much. Fingers crossed tomorrow's stream will be a lot more upbeat. I'll hopefully have a good night's sleep and get into it. But yes, I'll be painting up, as I said, 2 officers and Commissioner Loeb, I believe he's called, from the Batman story. But yes, take care of yourself, whatever you're doing for the rest of your day. Take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and if you're not already following, please click the follow button, subscribe button, whatever is there. It's very much appreciated. And yes, hope to catch some of you, if not all, in the next one. Ta-ra for now. Thank you, Jet.